How's it going, everyone? The Trout91 here, back for the Sassuolo playthrough. This is episode number 18. If you missed the previous episode, do go check it out in the description down below. We had our last 3 games of the 2016 calendar year. We played and lost 4-0 against Manchester United in what was a throwaway game, really, in the Europa League. It was our last Europa group stage match of the competition. We managed to hold off Sampdoria to win 2-1 and then cruise to victory 2-0 against Udinese before the end of the year. And now it is the Christmas break. And I wanted to recap you on how the squad is coming along. Starting off with Andrea Consigli. He hasn't made much progress despite playing almost every game. We've got Nicolas Frey, who's had a few physical declinements with his age, and the most notable improvement is his tackling. Ante is also improving slightly, most notably his tackling. Acerbi has made no real improvements. Peluso's physicals are declining due to his age. Magnanelli is technically improving. His passing has improved, which is most notable. Sensi is the surprise one. He's not really improving despite playing extremely well in the first half of the season and getting a lot of game time under his belt. Duncan is improving quite a fair amount, especially mentally. Ricci is massively improving both technically and physically. Likewise, Politano is massively improving across the board, especially in the technical area. Gary Hooper's actually had a slight downfall physically, which probably is due to the recent injury he had just before the Christmas break. Mazzatelli showing signs of improvement despite not really getting huge amounts of game time. Funnily enough, Leonardo Yajoa is improving physically. J. Emmanuel Thomas is also showing signs of improvement despite not really playing much more than a handful of games. Agpong hasn't really played, so he's not getting much improvement himself. Pellegrini is showing great growth even with what is arguably a lack of game time. Morel's hardly played for us and has started to physically suffer as a result. Lecce hasn't improved much despite the games he did get under his belt, so it's making it even harder to include him in the team at this point in time. We've also got Enrico Mora and we've got Antonio Ragusa, who haven't really played, so they're obviously not going to be improving. Now, Lirola has shown some progress despite barely touching the pitch at all, which isn't really a big deal for us because he's not our player, but it does give us some viable options as a substitute if he does continue to improve. Rizzuto hasn't played, so he's obviously not progressing. Vincenzo Ranella hasn't made any progress. His injury that at the start of the season kind of left him out, and he's lost his place in the starting lineup, and there's no real reason to bring him back. Now we've got Pomini, Gazzola, Cannavaro, Jankovic, and Matri, who all haven't been playing and are physically suffering due to the lack of game time and their age. Pietro Iamello hasn't made any progress, but at least he's not declining. He's obviously not really playing much at the moment. Laribi is out on loan and hasn't really made any progress. In fact, he is declining physically. Diego Falcinelli, one of our most promising guys out on loan at the moment at Crotone, has made good improvements overall. Trotta hasn't made any progress and has declined physically, which is annoying. Ferrari has made some progress. Vita has declined severely over the past few months. Domenico Berardi has declined physically due to his long-term injury at the start of the season, but he should be back just after the Christmas break. Vitali hasn't played, so he's not made much progress. And finally, Christian Cannavaro has made great improvements despite not really playing at all. So I'd say overall, the team is coming along nicely. There's no major improvements. Some of the older guys aren't really getting the same improvement they would do because obviously they've maxed out their ability potential. The younger guys, especially in the midfield, are really coming along nicely, which I'm happy about. You've got Sensi, who should be doing a lot better than he is. I'm not sure why he's not progressing as much. We've got Duncan, Pellegrini, we've got Christian Cannavaro in there, who could be a potential future player as a rotational kind of thing. We've also got Mazzatelli in there, who are all making improvements, which is great to see. Now, with the Christmas break coming up, we've also got the January transfer window, and transitioning into that, I had about 3 million in the bank. Before we get onto the transfers, there is some other bits of news that I need to bring to your attention because it's been a while since I've told you what's going on behind the scenes at the club. There hasn't been much to report up until now, but obviously with Christmas break and the transfer window, there's a lot more going on. Now, I had Pellegrini and Sensi wanting new contracts, and I told them to wait till the end of the season just to make sure that we get everything out of the way and we can give them a proper contract, and they were happy with that, and we put that one to rest. Phew! We sent Alessio Vita to Nana for 100k. He's declining massively. He's not a really great player, and I just wanted him off the wage bill, out of the club, and get anything I could from it. It would always help towards putting the money to new players in this window. We had a bid of 8.5 million overall come in for Acerbi, which I declined. Sounds like tasty money, but he is a valuable defender to me at this point in time. I don't really want to get rid of him. We also changed our season expectations from a top half finish to Europa League qualification, which only mildly improved the budget. If we had improved it to Champions League qualification, it really wouldn't have given us much of a difference. I think 200,000 odd would have been the extra amount of money we got. And with that kind of money, I don't think it's really going to make that much of a difference, especially when we're just about fighting for that Europa League spot at the moment. I want to make sure we're realistic about our expectations. So with that money that I had, we did a lot of scouting. And I mean, I did a lot of scouting. It was like bargain bucket value kind of hunting, like bargain hunter. We were looking for any kind of amazing deals we could possibly get with the money. I didn't want to go overboard with the spending because there's no point throwing money away when we've got a perfectly good squad, and I want to make sure that I get it all improved out and everything. So I asked you guys in the last episode, what areas should I improve the most? Guy said maybe get some strikers in, improve your fullbacks. I also felt like there were two main areas. My striker, I like Gary Hooper. I think Yajo is good, but I need someone who's going to offer me something different on the attack. I think one area of our game that's not great is our counter-attacking. Despite the fact we've got some really good, talented and fast wingers, we should be able to counter-attack much better. And for some reason, Gary Hooper, it doesn't really seem that mobile when it comes to the counter-attack. He kind of stops running and it just doesn't work out. So I want someone who's going to offer me something a little bit different. So I'm looking for someone who's got a little bit of pace to them, looks to try and hit people on the counter-attack and just burns away with the ball when they actually get any opportunity. Now, having said that, it is kind of hard because a lot of the games we are dominating, but when we are against those tougher opponents and in those games where the other team are having a lot of opportunities against us, we want to be able to move quickly and capitalize on the mistakes of other teams. I also felt like our fullbacks were letting us down, which is surprising because I think Peluso's a really good left back. Maybe not the fastest, but he is a very good left back, I think. And Nicholas Frey, I would say, apart from his pace possibly lacking his acceleration and agility, could definitely do with improving. Technically, he is a very good right back. It's just, for some reason, I'm conceding a lot of goals from the cross and going up the wing. The problem is, fullbacks are very expensive. If you want a good, decent fullback, they are very expensive, and I didn't think I really had the money to bring them in. So I thought, okay, we definitely need to improve our defense here. So maybe if I improve my centre-back partnership, it will stop some of those crosses potentially leaking into the box, and we might actually be able to deal with some of those poached goals that we can see. Now, Ante's a good centre-back, but statistically, as far as his technique goes, it's not the best. Technically, like marking, heading, tackling are not fantastic. So I thought maybe if I could get a centre-back who's really good at marking and tackling, we might actually be able to prevent some of this stuff. So those were the kind of my requirements. I put a lot of bids in. I put in a bid for Danny Ings, Emir Safic, Dimitar Berbatov, Jermaine Defoe, Fernando Torres, Samuel Eto'o, Berdiso, and they were not really biting to some of my offers. I got some nibbles, but the wages were ridiculous and some people weren't interested in moving, and it just became a bit of a headache despite all the scouting I did. But I had two players that I settled on. Came to a bid for Di Michaelis. Now, Di Michaelis, when you look at him, you're obviously thinking physically he's a bit slow. Like, really slow. Pace of 7, acceleration of 8. If you're caught in behind, you've got a serious problem, which is not necessarily what I'm too worried about because he's there to just make tackles and mark players. I'm interested in what he's got. It's his marking that's 17, it's his tackling that's 18. Obviously his heading's not amazing, but then again I've got Ante whose heading is basically on a similar par. He's there to just make sure that loose players don't go wandering and they're not completely unmarked. He's there to just take people who are trying to get loose and stop them. If there are some runners, I'm sure Cherby's going to latch it up. He's a fast guy. So for the money that we got for Di Michaelis, we put a bid for 375k. His wage is about 49,000, which is a lot for someone who's 36 years old. Probably not going to play for too much longer and probably going to look to replace at some point in the near future anyway. But at this point in time, I think it was an okay signing for what we wanted to do. The team's okay as it is. I feel like in this January transfer window, there's not too much point in wasting lots of money on people who aren't going to give big value to the team. And I couldn't necessarily replace all my fullbacks with the money I've got, so I thought maybe if I get a cheap centre-back who's going to improve the centre-back as a whole, it could stop some of the silly goals we can see. And I looked all over for some cheap deals who were of a similar par as Dimache's, and it was really hard to find, and I just couldn't do it, and he was probably the best that I was going to find. Now, our other signing is a bit of a wild card. I played with him a lot last year in Football Manager 2016 with West Ham because he was on loan there. Is EMENIKE. Very fast player, extremely quick, the kind of player I want on the counter-attack. He is great for counter-attacking football, and it just gives us a bit of a different option because I've got big target men, I've got guys who are going to knock in and poach. I want someone who's going to run with the ball and create problems for a defense, especially slow defenses. You will find quite a few slow defenses in the Serie A, so hopefully we can use them to break away and give Ricci and Politano a chance to move forward with him. It worries me that his determination and his teamwork aren't the best, but all I'm hoping is that he'll just get the ball and run, and run for days, and we could potentially get something. It's just something to give us a new option. I mean, we put in a bit of, I think, 325,000 for him in the end. His wages weren't too horrific. It just gives us an extra option. That's really what I wanted. I don't want to go too outrageous on a January transfer window. If there's any deals that pop up, I'll be sure to snap onto them while they're here. But I just want to give us something else to work with because I feel like we're very limited up front on how we're attacking at the moment. Now, the unfortunate thing with EMENIKE is he is injured, so it's going to be a couple of weeks before we get him. But that's not the biggest deals. It's not the end of the world at that point. He's what I want at this point in time, and I don't mind waiting a little bit to get him involved in the side. Now, we're back from the Christmas break. It's January, it's 2017, and we had our game against Fiorentina. Now, it was a really one-sided game, I felt like, from the start, and it showed as we managed to go 1-0 up, Sensi scoring the first via deflection, and we are really becoming Deflection FC at this point. We scored so many deflected goals recently. However, less than 10 minutes later, some nice quick football on one of the Fiorentina's attacks got them a goal back. From then on, the game was back and forward. You would argue that we probably had the better chances and more control of the game, but it ended up being a 1-1 affair. I wasn't too happy with how the result went, but it wasn't like we were impressive in front of goal. And before we move on to the next game, Juventus actually came in with another bid for Acerbi at the same amount overall of 8.5 million, but we rejected it once again. So against AC Milan today, and it's going to be a tough one. I'm already running out with the defensive setup. Our favoured formation has not really worked out too much in the past few games. So I'm going for a more defensive look, 4-2-3-1. We're going for the standard counter, high tempo, direct kind of football. We might be able to exploit flanks here because they're playing a very narrow formation, 4-3-1-2. And I don't know if you saw that, but we had Berardi up top. Now, Berardi's come back in. He's finally back after his injury, which is great to have him. We can actually stick him in. And he can play up front. Not his preferred position, but it will be nice to have someone with a bit of pace. Obviously, we're still waiting for EMENIKE to come back with his injury. And I'm just making sure that as many people are closed down and marked up as possible. This is literally, we're setting out to go into this on the defensive front. We are away from home. It's going to be a tough game. They're going to hit us hard. They've got some very talented players in AC Milan. They are near the top of the table. I can't remember exactly where they are in the table, but it's near the top. I think we're just going to be calm and say we're huge underdogs here, so there's no pressure on you to succeed. Go out there and show them what you can do. They've responded okay to that. That's all right. See if we can lap them up a little bit. Done exactly that. This could be a bad one. So they're in third place right now. They're not actually that far behind us. They're 5 points ahead. Is the last big team left in the first half of the season that we're playing. So we played all the big teams who I would consider big Serie A teams who are going to beat us. And that's like your Inter Milan, Juventus, AC Milan, Napoli. All 4 of those ahead of us in the table as we're actually on the attack here. Not a great cross, but I think we won a corner from that. And Roma, who are really far down the table still. I don't know what's going wrong with their season. Maybe it's time for us to poach a few players at the end if we can. Actually, at this rate, they're not going to qualify even for Europa League. So we might be able to snap up a few players who are looking for some European football. Right, we have started well here. We've got a few corners under our belt. Dimache's, I thought he managed to get a penalty there. So I'm playing Gary Hooper, who can obviously is one of the few players who can play a central attacking midfield for us in the side. And when he's done it as like a shadow striker, he's done pretty well in that position. I've got Berardi playing up top, and my goal is just to get the ball and hit them as fast as we can, having like Ricci, Politano, and Berardi running at you with the pace that they possess, should give us some real good chances up front. Ball goes forward, Berardi. Now this is what I want us to do, is hit them on the counter-attack, and it's actually folding out for us. Ricci switches a blow to Politano. Berardi at the back post. That is literally what I want. That is the kind of football I want to be doing against these big teams, and it actually almost worked there. Had that gone in, that would have been exactly what I was looking for, and I would look like a tactical genius. Oh no, Alfred Duncan's made a foul. Be polite, ref. He's given us a booking. That's not good. 15 minutes in, I can see a red card in this game. You boys are probably wondering what drink I've got tonight. So have any guesses what it is? I'm sure you're thinking that's juice. Yeah, it is some juice. Instead of the traditional Tesco juice I got, I decided I was just peering in the juice aisle. Like, picture this. There's me. Just like, oh yeah, we're gonna pick up this. I might go for a bit of a tropical little juice today. Pick up the carton. About to walk away, and I'm like this, doing one of them. Double check. What is it? Umbongo. A big old carton of Umbongo, and I'm like, whoa! I'm having some of that. I remember an advert when I was a kid. No one else seems to remember it. That they had it for a while. There was another drink. I don't know if it was just a marketing scheme or if it was another type of the Umbongo drink. It was called Umbognog or something like that. And for the life of me, I've looked on the internet. I can't seem to find it. Does anyone remember Umbognog or something like that? Umbogno, or I can't remember exactly what it was. What is Donnarumma doing? Is he just giving us a corner? All right, well played. He clearly wants to hear more about this Umbognog story, or Umbogno. Oh, we've got the ball here. Berardi goes for the shot. It's blocked. Magnanelli! We're lurking here, boys. We're lurking for a goal. We can get a goal here. I actually believe we could do this. We are smashing them. We haven't got a lot of the possession, but the counter-attacking football is working well. Yeah, in the comments, let me know if you remember Umbongo. Let me know if you remember something called Umbogno or Umbognog. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's another type of Umbongo drink. I sit there awake at night, haunting that I can't remember what it is. Too much information. Umbongo. Umbongood. Right, we need to close down more. We cannot give them an opportunity. Berardi finds Gary Hooper in the box. It's an absolutely dreadful attempt, but we are carving them open with this quick counter-attacking play. It's almost like having Berardi up front means that Gary Hooper doesn't have to worry too much about running forward, but he is getting a little bit more forward, and he's a little bit more nippy on though. Can we tighten up? Do not throw this away. Do not have the same game that you have against all the big teams, where you actually have a great start and you look like you're going to do something, and then we throw it away like a used disposable toilet wipe. Boys, if you score here, I'll buy you all an Umbongo carton. Or Umbogno, depends what you want. But we didn't score, so you don't get any. It's always one of them that ruins it for the others. Okay. Relatively damage-free first half. I'm actually very happy with that. This is a... What should we go with? We've got to make sure we get this right, because it could really unravel and go the opposite way. It's a great opportunity, I think. Yeah, let's go. Oh, that's worked out well. They've taken to it nicely. They're very keen on the team talk overall. So hopefully it doesn't backfire, because those are the worst. Have you ever done that? You do a team talk, and it gets them fired up. They're ready, and you're like, yeah, let's go, boys. Let's do this. What's the final score? 5-0 to the other team. Abate on the right wing. He is on a yellow card. Backer in the middle, and we do mark up that Acerbi gets the hold and Montalivo gets a shot, but like I said, I think maybe improving that centre-back partnership has meant that some of these crosses aren't going to find their way in. I've obviously, oh no, De Sciglio has made his way in behind, which is not good. Maybe we need to tone down the closing down, put it to sometimes. Stay on your feet, because that's the only thing here, is we're all sucking ourselves into one tackle. Ooh! 60 minutes gone. I'm actually thinking of switching, so I might just... Oh, do we go free at the back? I really want to hold on for this, and we're not having much... We were really good in the first half, but we're not having much going on here. I'm actually going to stick Pellegrini on. I'm going to go with the most trampy thing ever and stick 3 defensive midfielders. They're having so much time in the middle that although it seems like a really defensive and smelly, ratty little tactic, they have so much narrowly in the midfield. If we can stop them from having time on the ball, we might be able to control the game a bit more. To Bonaventura, finds Honda, quick pass to Lapadula. Ricci gets it, and that's exactly what we want. Pumps it forward to Berardi. Now he's going to move forward with pace, with conviction, hopefully. No, the only conviction is he should be convicted. for that terrible crime in attack. We need to make sure Sosa's closed down. Bertolacci is also in the midfield. Now, it's not obviously the most impactful of substitutions. Well, it could be. It depends how good they are. I'm going to take off Ricci, but I'm going to bring Mazzatelli on in the midfield. I literally just want to overload the midfield at this point and make sure we can get a hold of the ball and maybe the game. I mean, this game is more about confidence boosting than it is about getting a major result, I guess. Like, a draw for me is like a win because we're away against AC Milan, who are third in the table. We've not picked up enough points against the big teams, I feel like, when we could have easily done it. I just want to prove that we can do it. We can pick up points against these teams, because if we can do that now, if we go out and improve our team for next year, there's no reason we can't get some serious... Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. It's just getting a bit hairy now. I'm just sticking everyone in the midfield. Sensi's coming on now. We have really compacted the middle, and I think they're struggling to get anywhere at this point. They do have width, though, which is worrying. Look how many creatures. We've got like 7 people chasing that ball down. Barani's got it on the wing. You got to hold it up, mate. Just hold it up. Oh, he's done magnifico there. That's not so magnifico. That is poo. Oh wait, he's got a corner. That's magnifico. What's this ball like? Sensi plays it in. That's poo. That's poo. But we've got to go back. It's magnifico. Nicholas Frey is actually wasting so much time. I love it, mate. Loving your work. Berardi and Frey. He's offside. That is poo. That's not magnifico. We need to reorganize ourselves back at it. Look, it's just like, have you ever played Agario, the game? Like AGAR.io, that game with the circles and the dots. You've got to eat other circle and dots to get bigger and then eat everyone. That's basically what that reminded me of there. Duncan whips the ball in. It's not bad. A Cherby gets on it. Dimachenis at the back post. Someone support him. Look at the green shirts. The ball comes in. It's fallen to Mazzatelli. Can he get a shot? Pellegrini. Duncan with the header. Yes. Bertolacci. Sosa. He's got a man on the right. It's Abate. And when trying to crowd him out, he has to go back in the middle where every green shirt is currently located. Don't know what AC Milan can really do here. Oh, Peluso with a challenge. AC Milan desperately looking for a goal here. And I've literally stuck I've stuck 2 buses behind us, making sure we can't concede. The ball's headed out. Bit of miscommunication there. De Sciglio has it. Switches it to Abate. Can he drive forward? No, he can't, because there's about a mountain of green dots in front of him. And the ball's pumped forward to Berardi once again. Ref, that's it. That's what we want. Fake the fouls. Waste time. Let's put Berardi on defensive forward as well, just to make sure. So much space. And we've got Nicholas Frey running down on him. And that's it. Full time. Yes, we get the point. Well in there, boys. You proved everyone wrong there. Great stuff. Great result. And that will be that. We finished the first half of games in this season. And we've got 19 more to go. Let's see how we get on in our second half of the season.